What's going on, guys? So yesterday I got a question about leaky gut syndrome, and a gentleman wanted to know if he should be taking protein powder if he's got a leaky gut. Now, for those of you who don't understand what leaky gut syndrome is, let me just go into it quickly. Basically, what happens is your intestinal tract, it's got these little spaces where you can absorb nutrition through. They're called enterocytes. And they're spaced out throughout your intestinal tract. And what happens when your intestinal tract becomes inflamed is that the area around those openings, they harden up, right? And those areas harden up. And when they harden up, those openings get a little bit wider and your gut becomes more permeable. That means that food particles can get out of your intestinal tract and they can start to get into your bloodstream and also get into your immune system. Right? Remember, a large part of your immune system is located in your intestinal tract. In some places, it's separated from your waste products by a lining that's only a single cell thick. So this can lead you down into a lot of problems. When food particles get in there, it could give rise to food intolerances, food allergies. It could also give rise to autoimmune disease, right? So, ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease, can also start to cause total body chronic inflammation. It can start to affect your joints. It could affect your recovery. It could affect, levels of depression, brain fog, a whole host of things. It could also lead to irritable bowel syndrome and a whole host of discomfort. So we definitely don't want this to be happening. Now, the problem happens when we start to deal with situations where we're eating foods that are not very digestible. And when a food is not digestible, it can cause inflammation throughout the intestinal tract, and we get more of that problem with the hardening around those spaces. So what we really want to aim for here is a diet that's highly anti-inflammatory. So we want to make sure that we're including foods in our diet that can actually help to soothe and heal the gut. One of the best foods that you can include in your diet that'll help to soothe your gut is collagen. Now, we're seeing a lot of collagen protein powders out there, and basically collagen, it goes into making up your hair, your nails, your skin, but also it goes into making that interior lining of your intestinal tract. A lot of that interior lining is comprised by collagen protein. And so what we want to do is we want to focus on getting collagen into our bodies so that it can help to heal that interior lining. Now, there's other foods that can lead to a good degree of inflammation. So a lot of protein powders, both plant-based and animal-based protein powders, can cause a high degree of inflammation. So whey protein, I'm not against taking a good whey protein powder, but if you've got gut problems, it's not the type of protein to be taking. Same thing with pea protein, hemp protein, and most of the other protein powders that are out there. You don't want to be taking those if you do have leaky gut syndrome. But collagen protein is definitely something that you can take and should take. You can also get a lot of collagen by drinking bone broth. This is where you take a chicken carcass or some beef bones, you stick it into a slow cooker, you cook it for 10 to 12 hours along with some sliced up carrots or some onions and some, some celery, and you sip on that throughout the day, and that can definitely help to soothe and heal the gut. Now, if you're a vegan, one of the big things you really want to do, whether you're a vegan or not, but this has to do with a lot of plants and eating plants, you want to make sure that your plants are prepared properly. This is why I think the vegan diet is fantastic, but the raw vegan diet I'm not a big fan of. And the reason is because a lot of the materials in plants, they're not very digestible, and if we're not preparing our plants correctly, then that can lead to higher degrees of inflammation in the intestinal tract. So your nuts, you want to make sure you're soaking those to make those more digestible. If you're eating bread, you want to make sure that you're eating sprouted wheat bread because it's more digestible. But if you're eating green leafy vegetables, you want to make sure that they're steamed lightly. in that you're softening that exterior a little bit, so it goes a little bit easier on your intestinal tract, at least while you're suffering from leaky gut syndrome. So that's just a little bit of enlightenment on leaky gut syndrome and a little bit of information on how to heal the gut. Of course, there's a lot of other things that go into gut health. Populating your gut with friendly probiotic bacteria by eating fermented foods like kombucha, kimchi, coconut water, kefir. A whole bunch of those fermented foods will definitely do your intestinal tract good. Also, seeding your gut, making sure that you are getting those vegetables in. Also trying out some resistant starches that can help to attract friendlier bacteria to your gut. And of course, also making sure that you're getting enough rest, making sure you're getting enough sleep, so that you're not putting yourself through a lot of stress, because your friendly bacteria, they get stressed out too. And if you're stressing them out, then they start to die off, and that gives way to unfriendly bacteria. So again, just a few tips here. If you guys are interested in learning more, definitely sign up for my newsletter at newsletter.warriorsoulketocamp.com, or you can check out my website at www.warriorsoulagogi.com. We've got newsletter for you to sign up there, and I don't do anything but really provide information through that newsletter. It's not there to spam you or anything like that. And if you sign up for the newsletter, we also give out free workouts every day on our private Facebook group, which you'll gain access to once you join. So, and of course, there's always this channel. Please like and subscribe. Check out all the other videos and all the other information I put out. With that, thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you guys soon.